Hello and welcome to this watercolour channel. Please subscribe and click that bell icon. It's a relatively new channel, this one, so I hope you get something out of this and we all learn together. This is what we're painting, what we have painted, and what we're going to paint. Just a very simple watercolour with a mountain in the background and some body of water there. So I'm not wetting the paper this time. Usually I wet the sky or the area of the sky just with clean water first, but I'm going straight on to dry paper with cobalt blue, and I'm just going to just leave some area where it looks like there's plenty of cloud. It's all cobalt blue there. We'll be putting a tiny bit of Payne's grey in there as well. Mind you, with the sky, I think that Payne's grey will just be lost with the mixture with the rest of the blue. We'll add some variation in colour though. But it'll mainly get lost by the time we finish with the sky. I don't know why I'm being so precise here, because I think I might just saturate this with more cobalt blue and just run my brush through to give more of a cloud effect through the sky. That's okay, you can experiment as you go. If you're not happy with something, try something else, especially if you have watercolour paper that's fairly forgiving, like this paper that I'm using here. It's a cotton watercolour paper. So I'm putting in the mountain, but I haven't finished with the sky as yet. This is cobalt blue I'm putting in for the mountain. I'm putting a bit more cobalt blue on the mountain, but I don't want it to be so, I don't want it to be very saturated. I just want it to be just, a nice light wash. Okay, that's the sky, I think, just about finished. And you can see the mountain, just a little bit of a darker wash of ultramarine blue over that mountain, but not so dark that, it'll stand out above the rest of the painting, and that will fade back even more. So just putting in a tree here, using some Australian dark leaf green. I will put some yellow ochre in with this tree as well. This is very, very simple. It's just a mountain, a couple of trees either side, a few trees and some grasses in the foreground, and some reflection in the water. That's about it. You don't have to make the sky look as cloudy as what I've done, or as busy as what I've done here. I don't usually make my skies look as busy as that. So you can just do a very simple sky, just a simple wash if you want to. I just felt like doing a sky like that today, but you can do it a much simpler wash. Perhaps the next watercolour painting that I do, I'll do a very simple sky instead. And we'll just keep even the sky very simple next time. So just using Australian dark leaf green here. A little bit of yellow ochre. We'll put a bit more of yellow ochre in a bit later on, and we'll need to darken that tree up, I would say, down the track. So we'll just see how we go. If it needs darkening up, I think it will. And on the other side, it's a mixture of dark leaf green and yellow ochre. using a little bit of sap green. And this has just got a bit of yellow ochre with the sap green now. Just some trees in the background here. We'll increase the green now. So you'll see it a little bit more of a vibrant green coming in here, the sap green. It's got less yellow ochre in it. And we're simply just running some colour now, just across the front, just in front of those trees I'm painting now. We'll run some colour just across the front there, just heighten this tree a little bit. Darkening some bits up there with some Australian dark leaf green. Now there's dark leaf green here, but it's got a tiny bit of yellow ochre in, and I'm just going to very lightly just create just some impressions in the ground, just in the front here, just by running the brush along very lightly. Now you could forget by having some water at all. You could just keep bringing that across right to the foreground and put a couple of bushes in there, and it would look quite effective without having any water in at all, if you wanted to do that. This is just a very light yellow. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. May just go over that completely. I'm just trying out things as I go. Nothing wrong in doing that. The number one rule in watercolour paintings is that there are no rules. Of course, you need to get a technique, and there are some basic ideas that will help you. But some people say you must do this and you must do that, and that's not necessarily the case. Just getting the shape of this body of water. I'm just trying stuff out here. I don't know if I like that, so I may go over that. Just what I'm doing there, I'm talking about. I like the rest of the painting, how it's coming along. It's darkening up along the edge there. That probably won't matter because I'll be putting a lot of grass over that anyway, just there. But I'll keep going like that because I just need to get a feel of the actual river bank or the bank is at least okay before I put the grasses in, which will cover a lot of that anyway. But anyway, we'll keep going. Just some Australian dark leaf green in here. Yes, I've covered mostly what I did before anyway, just in that little spot there. That's okay. Using the dark leaf green still. You can see there's a little bit of yellow ochre mixed in with that green there. Just going to bring some of that colour back using a tissue. Bit of yellow ochre mixed with a bit of green. As I said, there'll be quite a bit of grass in the foreground. Reeds, grass, stuff like that. This is just using SAP, SAP, SAP Green. Actually, no, beg your pardon, that's a light green I'm using. Oops, I just got some there on the water by mistake, so I'll get a tissue, paper toweling. Still there, so I'll get a wet brush. Damp brush there, and I'll just lift that off with a brush, damp brush. There we go, and I'll just use that tissue once again. Paper towel. Yeah, that's gone now, just about gone. You can barely see it. That's what I want. Just darkening up this tree on the left hand side. Said it may need to be darkened up a bit. You might have liked it the way it was. I just felt it needed to be darkened up a bit. Putting some trees, or not some trees, but shrubs, just along the edge of this water. Putting a line here, a line just to define more of where the edge of the lake is. That's just using the dark green. Just defining these bushes on the edge of the river, or rather the edge of the lake. There we go, that's looking okay. But we'll have to reflect, make a reflection of that into the water. Using the back of a paint tube, just the corner. Don't think that'll matter too much there because we'll be putting a ton of grass over there soon. Just some very light impressions of branches using the back of a paint tube just to get a couple of scrape marks through there. Same on the other side. This is just a cobalt blue. Virtually the same as the sky. Just a light wash. I'm just softening the edge there a bit. In the foreground, I want some bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of burnt sienna mixed in together to give the impression there could be a little bit of, I don't know, mud or something like that in the lake, showing through the water, something like that. So just that yellow ochre and a bit of burnt sienna mixed in together there, just to give the impression there's some sort of mud or something like that, or some earth showing below the water. So that'll blend in, that'll fade back a little bit. Just a bit of reflection here off of these bushes there. bit of a reflection here, but we're not going to need that reflection so much, but it doesn't matter because it will help with the background of these grasses that I want to put in on both of the sides, left and right. So that dark reflection that I'm putting down there will help with the grasses that I want to put in there either side. So that's okay. We also want a little bit of a reflection of the mountain. You can get away with it by not putting the mountain in there as a reflection. It's just dragging a damp brush, washed out the brush, dried it off with a paper towel as much as possible, and just running a couple of lines through. These are grasses I was telling you about. So I'm using burnt umber and also a mixture of burnt umber and Australian dark leaf green. Using a rigger brush to do this. I just want these grasses to be sort of fairly random. So random grasses and things like that just around the foreground here, using burnt umber along with some burnt sienna, rather burnt umber along with some Australian dark leaf green. I will be putting a little bit of yellow ochre in through those grasses as well. Some random posts or sticks in the ground back there. Signing my name there. Still got the mountain reflection to put in the water there. You could leave it out because the mountain is far enough back, but I think I'll just put some reflection of that mountain in the water. We might do that on our final reveal video of that mountain in the water. Taking off the masking tape here. I think I might put a bit of yellow ochre over those trees, just in a couple of areas on the trees left and right. Just a tiny bit, not much. Just here and there, that'll do. All right, so we'll continue to take the masking tape off. Remember, we'll add in that mountain reflection into the water. You'll see that very soon. Okay, there it is. We'll just put the mountain in now and you'll see it in just a second into the water. There it is. It's a bit of a lighter wash of ultramarine blue. So there it is. There's our completed watercolour painting. A very simple scene there of just some water, some grasses around the foreground there, a mountain in the background, a couple of trees either side. and a body of land there between the mountain and that water. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you. Please subscribe. See you soon.